Well, hello and welcome to Book Talks with Sandy. I am Sandy Sanders. I am your host and creator of the Coffee Conversation and Book Talks with Sandy, where we are a part of the CTR Media Network, heard in over 350 countries and over 350 viewers, and 100 countries globally. I'm very excited to have these phenomenal women that are joining me this evening. This is a project of a dear literary friend. I call her, we know her as the Renaissance woman. We are talking about the phenomenal, yes, Dawn Leak. Well, this project is a project of women that are in law enforcement. We have with us tonight the contributing authors and the visionary author of the book that you all have been seeing in the flyer. It is called Uncuffed Voices. Her story is my story. I am talking about the phenomenal, yes, Chief Chanel Dickerson. And without further ado, I am going to bring these ladies on. I need you all to share this out. Go ahead, drop some names, tag someone, because this is a conversation that you do not want to miss. I need you to hang tight with me. Go ahead and drop those names. And without further ado, let me go ahead and welcome to the Book Talks with Sandy and Coffee Conversation platform. Yes, Chief Chanel Dickerson. Hello, and how are you along with the other ladies with you? How are you doing this evening?
We're doing fine. Thank you so much for having us, Sandy.
Absolutely. Well, you're on tour and there's this amazing, phenomenal book, but we'll get into that in just a moment. You all listen, as we have shared with you, Book Talks with Sandy, it is a platform for authors, anthology book projects. And what do I say? That is mostly for you. Why do I say that? Because you just might be looking for a good book to read. And tonight, you want to make sure that anytime Dawn Lee comes across with something, guys, you want to put it in your basket because this is a go-to book that you want to pick up. Tonight, as I mentioned, is that we have Chief Chanel Dickerson. When I say chief, yes, these are women that are in the law enforcement. And I just want to again welcome you. Thank you for coming. I will be sharing a little bit about who you are, but how are you feeling with your book? I'm all excited. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually excited. So I share it with you. I know that the ladies are excited. We have been working on this project since February.
Yeah.
It was important for the collection of women that we have gathered here today and some who are not here to come together and share a collection of stories because we want to
Yeah.
increase the number of women in law enforcement. That's our main goal for this book.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So increasing because as you have written, is that this is a predominantly male industry or a career that we have mostly your male counterparts that are in these positions in law enforcement. But before we get to that, you all, I do want you all to share this out. We're going to be doing some of that in just a moment. But I want to share a little bit about, I want to also, while I'm doing that, welcome the other ladies, the other contributing authors that you have brought along with you. Linda Tony. Yes. Hi, Linda. How you doing?
I'm good, Sandy. How are you?
I am doing great and fabulous. Welcome to Book Talks with Sandy. And we have Janique. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Come on and say hello and tell us where you're from and all that good stuff.
I am from the Washington, D.C. area. I currently live in District Heights, Maryland.
Okay. All right. Great. And we have LaShawn Lockerman.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing? I'm going to have to be
I'm
bringing these
wonderful.
names
Thank you
so
for
you guys
asking.
can see that. Ma'am.
I said I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have the phenomenal Derica Wilson.
Hello, everyone. I'm Derica, and I am calling in from College Park, Maryland.
Awesome. And Angelica Robinson.
Hey everyone, I'm calling from Metro Detroit Police Department area. Metro Detroit Police Department still active. How are you guys?
Okay, awesome. And Linda, where are you from?
I am. Thank you for asking, Sandy. I am living now in North Carolina, but was a police officer in Henrico County in Virginia.
Okay, all right. And as we had alluded earlier, visionary author and Chief Chanel had mentioned that pretty much all of the authors are out of the DC, Virginia, Maryland area. What a phenomenal group of women here. We're just honored and want to thank you for being with us on this evening. Hey, listen, we've got someone that is listening here, and it is Debbie. Brenda, excuse me. Brenda's saying good evening. Brenda's actually out of South Carolina. Yes, she's always coming through for sure. Well, listen, let's have a word of prayer, and then we're going to go ahead. Brenda, if you will, go ahead and drop some names in there. Get those shared out. Brenda is our ambassador, and we're just really thankful. Yes, gracious Heavenly Father, we bless you tonight. We do give you glory. We give you honor and we give you praise. We thank you, Lord, for this day, the day that which you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Father, I thank you for this broadcast. I thank you for our guest on this evening, your daughters, ones that you have, you knew what their assignment in the earth would be even before they did. And Father, I thank you for them serving our community, serving our families, serving just us in the marketplace, in the world, in their area of law enforcement. Now, Father, I pray that whatever is being said to inspire others, that others will be able to see maybe themselves through this conversation and through the dialogue. We ask that you get all the glory and all of the praise. In Jesus' name we pray, amen and amen. Those of you that are watching us also on our YouTube channel, thank you so much for tuning in. And those that are over there on our Facebook channel, thank you so much. Well, our guest this evening is none other than Chief Chanel Dickerson. Now, I just want to share just a little bit, guys. Yes, I'm reading here tonight, okay? Chief Chanel Dickerson is a trailblazer indeed. Yes, she is a trailblazer, and as an effectuous and a CEO and founder of Chief Chanel Dickerson LLC, multifaceted coaching, empowering girls and women burdened with limited beliefs and self-doubt to build lives filled with confidence and victory throughout their careers, education, and finances and relationship, well equated with the importance of confidence. And what she does is that she has enjoyed more than 20 years of diverse responsibilities in servant leader and retired as an assistant chief of police from the Metropolitan Police Department in the Washington area in 2022. Her mantra is clear, that she believes that women can have it all when core values are instilled within a girl. That's enough right there. We're going to park it right there, y'all. I'm going to read a little bit more a little bit later. Chief Chanel, come on. Law enforcement. Did you know as a little girl that you wanted to enter into the police officer career as a police officer?
Thank you so much for the question. Absolutely. I knew when I was 9 years old that I wanted to be a police officer. And I joined the Metropolitan Police Department in DC at the age of 17 as a police cadet.
Oh my goodness. So
yes. You didn't expect that, did you? No.
I did not. I said, okay, well, she's like in her 20s, 25, but right out of high school. Oh my goodness. So you were sure. You were sure of what you wanted to do. And so in your career, you obviously leveled to a position as assistant chief, if I'm reading this correctly. What were some of the battles that you had to go through to get to that position?
It's different barriers and stereotypes that women face, because sometimes women are not viewed as strong and that they are able to handle situations out in patrol. Right. And I had to navigate being passed over for promotions. And one thing that was important for me is I did not want to become a diversity checkbox. Now, I have had a rewarding career in law enforcement, and I have had men and women who have invested in me to be able to climb the ranks in the profession. So I'm here today is to give back. I want the women who are coming behind me to stand on my shoulders to pursue their dreams in law enforcement.
I love it. And what an amazing way to do that, and having the conversation of putting thoughts of other women. I love how you have shared that the book title is called Uncuffed Voices. Her story is my story. What is that one liner? I want to share with our audience. Uncuffed Voices. It is an empowering collection of stories from women in law enforcement, as we have said. These women have seen and experienced it all, from grueling physical demands to emotional traumas, and yet they remain resilient in their pursuit of service and protection. In this book, these women candidly share their stories, hopes, and fears in the hope of inspiring others. So tonight, you all, we will be hearing from, you have approximately 18 women that have penned their thoughts. And this is only, I'm pretty sure, a portion of what they've experienced. But as they navigated through writing, Chief Chanel, how did you come about selecting your authors? How did all of this come into play? And meeting your project manager, the work on the cover, these are award-winning women. And come on and share a little bit about how that meeting took place, because my audience is very familiar with Dawn Leak, as well as Shadaria, Dr. Shadaria. So yes, come on.
Well, I'll make it short, but it's definitely no really short version. When I retired last year, I was working on my own book. And to be honest, I had writer's block. I was experiencing separation anxiety. I have worked for the DC Police Department, had worked for the DC Police Department for over 30 years at that time. Majority of my adult life was spent there. I had a 2-year break that I went off to pursue something else. So it was hard for me to make the adjustment initially. So I worked on 2 anthology projects, and that's how I got connected to Dawn Leak and Dr. Shadaria Allison.
That is awesome. Well, those ladies will certainly help you in navigating it. And I recognize that space whenever you get to a point that what is my next? What do I say? What's more in me, but how do I get it out? At this time, you all, I want to go ahead and let's meet our contributing authors that are with us on tonight. Linda, Tony, we're going to start in kind of round robin. Linda, come on and share who you are and your connection with Chief Dickerson here.
Thank you so much, Sandy. And I do need to thank Chief Chanel. Again, this wouldn't have happened if she didn't have this vision to bring us all on. And felt fortunate that even though I worked in Virginia and Chanel was in DC, we had never met, but we had so many things in common, and it's been great to be able to lift each other up. But I describe myself in many ways. I am a Christian, I'm a wife, a mother, a sister. Oh, and I had this huge career that went for almost 30 years. I retired as a lieutenant colonel from Henrico County Police, which is in Henrico, Virginia, and felt very fortunate to be able to be there and work that long.
Awesome. Awesome. And so as you have shared in the book, I'm trying to pull up my book now. Come on and just let us know what your experience when you said yes to the book.
Sure. So I'm chapter 17, if you're looking, just so you know. So saying yes, first of all, I couldn't say no to Chief Chanel. I mean, really the passion that she had for us to do this project and getting a chance to work with so many women in your field, but really just wanting to continue mentoring and encouraging others. That's really why it was fun to share my story. I think unlike some people, I had a lot more positive experiences, and I'm learning from some of my other sister authors that not everybody had that same thing. So it's good that we share all of our stories to see the differences.
Awesome. 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 Well, thank you so much for that. Again, you all, we are on tonight with the visionary author of Uncuffed Voices. Her story is my story. This is a collaboration of women that have come together, and they are women of law enforcement. They're either retired or presently still on the force. And it's a total of about 18 women. And we are having a conversation about their new release, their new book project. And this book project, we definitely want to tell you more about it. But tonight you're meeting the author, the visionary author, and some of the contributing authors on tonight. And our next person is going to be Janique Springs.
All right. Hello. And thank you again for having us. Again, like Chanel, I was a cadet as well with her. I came in at 19 years old as a cadet.
Okay.
And I knew Chanel. We kind of crossed paths, and I didn't get a chance to actually work directly under her until like 2006, 2007. I did follow her in her career. We crossed paths. They were always very positive interactions. And as I followed her, I saw her doing something that I would have loved to do, but early in my career, I just kind of shut down. And it's in the chapter as to why I shut down. But I've always applauded everything that she's done. And I did not know the struggles that she had being passed over until like later in my career. I did complete 29 years and 6 months on the department. I retired in 2020. And because of the position I have, I came back. So I am currently still working.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know we're going to hear much more from you. And at this time, we are going to be hearing from LaShawn Lockerman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again for having us. I'm currently still a member of the Metropolitan Police Department. I'm coming up on my 20th year. I'm a lieutenant. And I joined the project because, well, first of all, I have faith in Chief Dickerson, a former Assistant Chief Dickerson. And I knew that when she put something together that it would be, if I didn't take her up on it, I would regret it. So I decided that I would. Initially, when I had to write a chapter, I would start and stop and start and stop. And then finally she was like, this is the deadline. And I sat down and I just wrote, I just poured it out. And I've had different experiences on the police department. Some have been great. Some have been not so great. I can definitely say that the good has outweighed the bad. But I chose to write about my village and the support that I needed, that it took me to become a police officer and raise children. And then when my excitement was kind of waning for the job, and by the way, I started off as a cadet as well. I was still in high school. I was 17 years old, but I did leave the program for some time, and then I came back. And by the time I came back, I had kids. And then what kind of reignited my love for the job was my husband, who is now retired. He retired as a lieutenant as well, and he kind of pushed me to get promoted and to start loving the job again.
I love it. So you had the support system, and I would think that that's extremely important, very important.
It is extremely important.
Yeah. And I think in any career, when you're making a decision that also may pull you away from your family members, having a support system. My daughter is a firefighter. And so I understand she's Navy, and then she became a firefighter. So yes, indeed. Our next is Derica Wilson. Come on and say hello to us, if you will, ma'am.
Hello again, everyone. And I too have to thank Chanel for this vision. I met Chanel back in 2017. She was working on the police department, and I had left the police department, but in my capacity with my nonprofit and finding missing people, that is how we really connected. And I'm happy to say that Chanel is not only a friend, but she is a sister. And when she approached me about this project, hands down, I wanted to be able to uncuff my voice, to be able to share my experiences with others that are looking to pursue a career in law enforcement. there has been challenges, but as some of my co-authors stated, it has been far more rewarding. But it's so important to be able to let these individuals out there that's, pursuing careers in law enforcement hear the good and the bad. But mine really, the good outweighs the bad. And with my chapter, I'm chapter 18. My chapter is called Chosen. I want the readers to understand their purpose and their passion. And that's how I had written my chapter, to understand that sometimes you're going through something, but it's so much bigger than who you are. You just have to go through certain steps, certain experiences to get that reward at the end.
Absolutely. You absolutely do. And so having the diversity, Chief Chanel, you've got a diverse group of women here for sure. What we're going to do now, we're going to now hear from Angelica. And then after we do that, we'll be hearing from our sponsors. You guys, I need you all to share this out. I'm on the back end, y'all. I'm working here. But those of you that are tuning in, I need you all to really stay part. Drop some names in, those of you that are watching us on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook, because tonight is going to be an extremely amazing conversation. Yes, go ahead, Angelica.
Hi, my name is Angelica. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I work for the Detroit Police Department. I am currently active still. As of like the other lady said, I started off as a cadet as well. I've been on the department for approximately 28 years now. I stumbled across Chanel. I never met her, but I feel like I've been knowing her my whole life. I actually stumbled across her through social media, and I was just instantly drawn to her energy and what she was standing for, because we had so many similarities on things that I have faced on the police department. Within the Detroit Police Department, for me, it's been very bittersweet moments. My chapter in this book is called Birthing Change. Birthing Change is pretty much surrounding what no woman should ever face, and that's choosing to have a family over her career. And the changes that I was able to come about on the Detroit Police Department with Birthing Change is my daughter. I want to give her a shout out. Her name is Carly. That's my world. So she's the reason why Birthing Change came about. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me here.
You are okay. We're okay. So, and that is amazing that your daughter is somewhat is that reason why you put that uniform on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
There's for her to see her mommy do something, in a selfless way. You're not thinking of yourself, but you're thinking of others, just like your little girl. And Chief Chanel, I hear the similarity. I see the thread, the common thread is to inspire others. I'm hearing the common thread is to help others know that, as you said, is that you can have it all when you have those core values. Talk to us about that. How those core values that you're referring to, what does that look like?
Are you talking for me?
I'm actually, and Chief Chanel, and both of you, because you connected and you said similarities. Okay.
So sorry.
There's the icebreaker.
Chanel, no, it's okay for everyone to jump in, because although I am the visionary author, and the ladies can actually attest to this, this is all of our projects. I could not have done this without them. And awesome. Her story is my story. Is like you heard Angelica said that there's similarities. Women, we are more alike than different. Although we have different backgrounds, we may have worked, for different size police departments, but a lot of the barriers and the stereotypes that go with women in law enforcement are the same. We have women in corrections. That's a part of it, because women that are in corrections are also women who are in law enforcement. And to start out a career in law enforcement, most women start out because of their why. Their why is because they want to help. They want to serve the community, and they are trying to navigate serving the community, protecting the community, and balancing motherhood. And a lot of the chapters, you will see that that's a common theme, that women were trying to have it all. And so what we're doing here by joining forces together is to allow them to see that you can have it all, but then you can seek out a mentor, because we're all willing to be mentors for ladies who are already in law enforcement and those who are sitting on the sidelines, because there are some women on the sidelines that are hesitant about joining because they don't believe that they can navigate the work-life balance. Yeah, sorry, we can't hear you.
What I wanted to say is thank you for sharing that. And if any of the other ladies would like to comment on, yes, your why, as well as the common thread is inspiring others. Anyone?
Well, I'll go. For me, my why was there's within the Detroit Police Department, there is not enough voices. And I wanted to be that one to step up and have a voice for the other women. And just to let them know, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be ashamed of anything. You have a voice and you have rights.
Okay. All right. Good. Linda, you're retired, Linda. Share as we're saying, the common thread is to inspire others. And how important a book like this is. Go ahead.
It is. And because there's not always a lot of women around you when you first come into whatever that's the academy or the corrections training, you want to be able to talk to other people who have similarities like you, because we do have some other challenges. So I think it's really important. And I talk about in my chapter, having a mentor, someone who comes and talks to you as a recruit, and then we have to give back. So I would go and do that with our recruits, and not only while they're in the academy, but you need to follow them. You need to be able to say, hey, do you need to talk about something? Can I give you advice or compliment them on something? And again, not just because they're female, but because they're confident and they can do it. And you're showing them by example how you did it. So that was very important to me.
Awesome. Awesome. Derica, I see you shaking your head.
And I was sitting here thinking, I think this book is going to be incredible for those women that are in law enforcement as well, because they're going to see that whatever their challenges are at the moment, that they're not embarking on it by themselves. We've already walked down that path. And I think, again, with, her story is my story, they're going to see themselves in our story. And they're going to also see how they can persevere, through those challenges for the bigger purpose or the bigger goal at the very end.
Yeah, that's good. LaShawn, did you want to contribute?
I did. I wanted to say that when I started the police academy, I had literally stopped nursing 2 weeks before my first day. So it was really, really, really difficult. I couldn't finish. The only thing I could finish were the sit-ups. I couldn't finish anything. And I was determined I would come home and I would look at those 3 little faces, and there was no room for failure at all. And so I knew that I had to persevere. But as you go throughout your career, you say, being a working mother is challenging for any working mother. But when you are a working mother that works Christmases and nights, and you're trying to navigate going on school trips, and you have I had a child that had some health challenges, or you're going through teenage challenges, you definitely don't want to seem like you're the person that's always having to call in for your kid, and you're trying to balance it all. I've woken up kids at 4:00 in the morning to open up Christmas gifts so that I could at least see them open up the gifts. and then I go to work and my mom would hold it down. And then I'd be there in the afternoon and the evening, and then just working through exhaustion. It was very hard, but they were definitely early on. They were my why.
And as you were talking, when you mentioned being a mother, been nursing, and sometimes y'all have to go in the bathroom and just shed a tear, get it together, and say, I have to know what. And I think that's in any career. But bless your heart. And how old are those babies now?
They are 27. My daughter, well, my oldest one is 30. My daughter's 27 and she'll be 28 in a couple of months. And the baby is 20.
And did you realize then, no, you probably that, you know, what seemed to be hard and now you've gone through the journey. What are some of the moments when you sit back and you say it was worth it?
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that. My mother is visiting my daughter right now. And so she called me and she said, I wanted to let you know, oh, the house is so beautiful. Everything is so clean. You did a really good job. You know, and when I see, you know, her determination to be a good mom and, you know, forge her way and try to build a career, my youngest son is going into law enforcement himself. So he's at the very beginning. So he's trying to figure out where he wants to land, but that is definitely his chosen career. My oldest one is taking care of his family and holding it down. And look, I said, none of them broke. You know, you're always afraid when you're raising your kids. Like,
the children gonna break, something's gonna happen.
So
that is so true.
And they'll say, well, I'm doing this like you did, Mom, and things like that. So that's when it kind of comes full circle.
Starting at home, and it's full circle. That's amazing. Those of you that are tuning in, we're here, Book Talks with Sandy. And tonight we are with the author, visionary author, and the contributing authors of a book called Uncuffed Voices. Her story is my story. This is a book that is of women that are in law enforcement at whatever category, or there's different departments of law enforcement. And so and I happen to be looking at a portion inside of the book. This book also highlights the myriad of opportunities and successes and rewarding careers that have come directly from women's inclusion in law enforcement. From traffic enforcers to homicide detectives to negotiators, canine handlers, correction officers to chiefs. Women are embracing diverse roles and showing that their presence is an integral part of making the law enforcement community more dynamic, efficient, and responsive to the needs of the people that they serve. And yes, they serve our community. Our show is sponsored tonight by Liberations Publishing. Guys, we're going to be sharing their information, and after that, we'll come back and we will be hearing from each of these authors as they share a snippet of what they have contributed to the book, Uncuffed Voices. We're being sponsored by Liberations Publishing. We're publishing design with the author in mind. There's a brief information that I want to share with our audience, and we will be right back here. Liberations Publishing has an upcoming event, Awards and Gala, which is a book and business expo that is scheduled for October the 13th and the 14th in Tupelo, Mississippi. Go to www.liberationspublishing.com. Again, that is www for the book fair event that will be held in October 13th and 14th in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jonathan Haynes, and I'm so excited to be a sponsor with Book Talks with Sandy Sanders. Listen, I'm with Jonathan Haynes Ministries, and I'm a singer, author, motivational speaker, podcaster, and the list goes on, but I'm offering my services to you. You can reach me by email at sbirdproductions56@gmail.com or my phone number at 228-346-1535. I'm looking forward to connecting with you, and let's get it in 2023. God bless you all. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr.
Jonathan Haynes, y'all. Y'all know if you want a singer, speaker, author, yes, he is your guy for sure. Tonight, we are going to be hearing from the contributing authors of the book called Uncuffed Voices. Her story is my story. The first author that I would like to bring forward so that she can share some of her portion of the book is Angelica. and she has chapter number 13. Angelica, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Want to look up your information here. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you are doing.
So again, I'm Angelica Robinson. I am an active Detroit police officer for the Detroit Police Department, of course, for the city of Detroit, 28 years. In 2008, to go into the book, a little bit about the book rather, Uncuffed Voices. 2008, I ended up pregnant. I hid my pregnancy, and for a while, because I was afraid to tell the police department that I was pregnant, because they would eventually pretty much release you. So I hid my pregnancy for a while, and eventually I couldn't do it any longer. So I had ended up confiding into someone about my pregnancy. From there, the pregnancy, of course, got out, and I was released from the police department because I ended up getting pregnant. So from that point, I ended up teaming up with the ACLU, along with Deborah Gordon's law firm, along with some other officers who also were pregnant, and it was hiding their pregnancy. And from there, that's how Birth and Change came about. My daughter was born August 28th, 2008. And I was able to actually get the pregnancy law revised in the state of Michigan for law enforcement officer. So moving forward, any woman that becomes pregnant in law enforcement or any other sector do not have to hide their pregnancy. They have the right to keep their employment and continue on with their families. So that's pretty much a snippet of my portion of Birthing Change and Uncuffed Voices.
Okay. All right. Great. I want to ask, putting on the uniform, putting on the suit, having to do all of that, the challenges that women have to go through mentally, because you're talking about being pregnant, morning sickness, or the emotionals, the ups and the downs. What is one of the things that you can say that you did to hold it together? What was just one thing that you can share?
Well, I had a good male confidant that was by my side when I first learned of my pregnancy, who was an officer as well. Although he was not the one that revealed my pregnancy, he got me through it. He was there because they had switched up my hours. They made me put on a uniform because I was plain clothes. So
okay,
they would make me stand up to do inspections on me to see if I was pregnant, because I didn't look pregnant. I was still wearing, my regular clothes. But as soon as I was able to sit down, that belt came loose. I was ready to just let it all out. But he got me through the first trimesters of that pregnancy. And I'm very grateful for him, just as I am grateful for Chief Chanel for giving me this voice to tell my story.
That is awesome. One of the pieces that you write in your chapter, you say, despite the encounters that happened during my academy days, I can honestly say the first 5 years of my policing career were exciting. I worked with some of the best men and women in blue. I have also been inspired above and beyond by leaders, including late Chief of Police in the Detroit area. And saying from one of the greats that had gone on is, when you take care of your people will take care of you. I hold those words dearly in my heart and apply them not only in my personal life, but also in the private security business, which has been and is successfully growing. At this time, yes, you've just heard from one of the contributing authors, and Angelica M. Robinson. I want to go ahead now and bring on Linda. Come on, Linda. I was wanting to do round robin there. Linda has chapter 17, if you will. Come on.
Yes, chapter 17 is mine. And like a lot of folks that we're writing, we talk about advice, challenges we face, family, kids, schedules. My husband was also an officer. And so I talk about how there's times we both had to be at work, that our schedules mandated that, and how we juggled that. And we worked opposite shifts sometime. And then we also had to lean on family. And so I talk about that a lot, because if you're going to go into this profession or any profession where you might have to work Christmas or someone's birthday, you need to make sure you have a support system and people that you can lean on. So to me, that was really important that I shared that. Also important to me, I was hard on myself. I didn't necessarily feel as much pressure to do better or be good from other men, but I put pressure on myself because I wanted to be a good officer and I wanted to be as good as others. And even if I checked every box on paper, I wanted to make sure when I got promoted that I was promoted because I was as good and better, and not because I was a female. And so that was really important to me, that yes, I put a lot of stress on myself, but I just wanted to make sure that I exceeded things.
You are short.
I can go on and on. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you two things on my list of things.
Okay.
I had a whole list of things that I was told by mentors and then things that I wanted to share. Number one, trust your instincts, and that can be for men or women. And number two was your communication skills. Women really have to lean on that, because we might not be the strongest person in the room, but I bet I could talk somebody out of a building instead of fighting with them, or make sure a DUI doesn't assault you. So again, for women, that was one of the main things to talk about, was lean on your communication style and your skills to get you through scary things.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things that you've written as well in your chapter, you said, with my police division, you could compete for a lieutenant after 3 years as a sergeant. Due to the age of my children and the requirements of my division had for that particular promotion, I waited 9 years, you say, 9 years to participate in the promotional process for a lieutenant. By that time, my daughter was old enough to drive, and she could get herself and her brother to activities through allowing my husband, their dad, to maintain his work schedule and his role as a dad. So back then, promotion to lieutenant meant you were committed to attending 3-month leadership school out of state. Mm-hmm. And here's the point, audience, is that she says, my role as a mother was more important than any promotion. Therefore, I waited to compete in the promotional process. Looking back, this is not something I would change, but still consideration and perhaps a sacrifice I made as a mom in this profession. Would any of you like, I want to park right there. And yes, we could go, we are going to go in. Derek, I want you to get ready. Who wants to, let's chime in on the sacrifices that you've made as a police officer. And then law enforcement.
Absolutely. If I can interject, I waited until I had 12 years on to be promoted, because there was no way. I remember the promotional exam prior to the one where I got promoted to sergeant. I was dating my husband at the time, and he was trying to encourage me to do it. And I was like, there's no way I can do this, because who's going to keep my young son? And at this point, my daughter was getting older in high school. My oldest son was gone. My daughter was getting older in high school and getting ready to go to college, and he wasn't old enough to stay home by himself. And even when you delve into it, and I would take him to my dad, and I would shuffle back and forth. He used to spend weekends with my dad when he was about 12 or 13. When I finally got promoted. But you definitely put your career off to raise your children. Most women don't have the choice to delve into it and go into whatever they want and get promoted, whatever, because you have to juggle both. And when you get promoted and you're a new sergeant or a new lieutenant or a new captain, whatever the next promotional exam you'd be taking, what you can't do is go in with a hardship and say, I need all day work. You can't do that.
I love it. I love it. Anyone else you want to talk about how well, the reward that came, but you had to sacrifice. Anyone else want to share?
Yes. So the sacrifices that I made, I did not have my daughter until 20 years into my career for a lot of reasons. Number one, there was no paid family leave. You had to use your own leave. I saw a lot of women before me that had children and they had to be back to work within 6 weeks. And that was heartbreaking for me. I know it had to be heartbreaking for them to have to take your newborn baby and drop them off. I've worked several Christmases, Thanksgiving, major holidays, so that my coworkers could be at home with their families. I've shown up to family cookouts, family reunions, uh, family funerals, close friends' funeral with these police pants on because I'm always at work or there's some sort of crime emergency or whatever. However, 20 years in, I said, that's it. I'm ready to start my family. And my mindset was totally different when I did, have my daughter. And at that point, I was like, well, I can take it or leave it. And this is where it stops.
Yeah. Yeah. When you finally say, this is something that I want to do and I need to do. Anyone else want to talk about their experience of having to sacrifice?
I'll jump in a little with this, and then I know for the sake of time, I'll let you go to Derica, but just the opposite. I have no biological children. When I joined the police department at 17, I had aspirations to become the chief of police in Washington, D.C. I wanted to be the first female chief of police in Washington, D.C. And then we had one of those in the 2000s. And then I changed and I wanted to be the first Black female chief of police in Washington, D.C. So what I noticed that people, women who were in the command and the executive positions in the police department, like they had no children or they had no small children. And so when I was planning out my career and my ex-husband was in the military and he was away a lot. And so I looked at who would care for, my child if I ascended the ranks. And so those are just sacrifices that women have to make. Some people, some women have to make sacrifices and they don't get promoted until later. And then some women choose not to have a child.
That right there, exactly. Choosing not to, not because of the inability to, but because the career, the choice, and looking at both of those. So again, this you all are sharing. I think you're being you're being vulnerable, but yet being courageous in sharing what you've experienced. And then in hopes that another woman that's in our audience or may pick up this book, wherever this book may land, and one or many of your stories will help another woman shape her career or know that she has the ability to walk through and walk out this the career in law enforcement, knowing that somebody else is there. And I'm pretty sure you all have that information where they'll be able to look, reach out to you. At this time, yes, we're going to hear from Derica Wilson. And Derica, come on and share a little bit about who you are and what you do. I am pulling up your chapter and we're just going to pull a plug out of it, but go ahead and talk to us.
Okay. Hello again. I'm Derica Wilson from Maryland. I'm originally from South Carolina, and I know Brenda that tapped in a little earlier. She's from South Carolina, my hometown, Spartanburg. I have over 2 decades of law enforcement experience, and in my book, I really wanted, in my chapter, which is chapter 18, Chosen, I really wanted to highlight my path, being the first Black female police officer in the 2000s, and what those challenges look like for me and how I was able to overcome and turn everything that wasn't positive and two positive experiences to get me to where I am today and be the person that I am today. You know, I look back on my career and I absolutely wouldn't change anything. I think about every hurdle that I went through, it prepared me because, again, as I mentioned earlier, everything is about purpose and passion with me, and understanding that there are some assignments that must be fulfilled without asking any questions. You just go along on this journey.
I was wanting you to talk some more. You can go a little bit further.
You can ask me some questions. I don't want to give everything away.
Yeah, because we want people to buy the book, Derica. That's exactly
Yes,
it, right?
yes. I don't want
Absolutely.
to give everything away.
Can't give everything away. Cannot do that. One of the things I like, and this is going to make you want to buy the book, not just for her chapter, but what others, if you all heard, I was reading some of their snippets. But here is what she says, is that I want to go back to the other one. I thought this was profound. Right here is that okay, I switched over, y'all. I promise y'all I'm gonna come back to it. While I'm looking, I am going to have, let's see, Janae, yeah, come on. You haven't said much, and I apologize, and didn't mean not to call on you, but come on and share with us your contribution to the book, why you said yes, how you connected with Chief Chanel, all of that juicy stuff.
Okay, well, I connected with Chief Chanel. She asked me a question, and my question was, you know, what would you tell your younger self? And I was like, wow, that's a really loaded question. Although I was not going to say no to her anyway, because like I said, I have, you know, followed her through our careers. We started off as cadets, and I just watched her go up through the ranks. And like I said in my chapter, which you'll read, why I just stopped and said, well, this is what I'm going to do in my career. I went back to a time when I was early on the department, 23 years old. I had aspirations of, I'm going to be this great detective. And I was just given, you know, can you come work in this particular unit for us? And I said, wow, I could do that, because that way that'll make me an investigator. And then I'll be this great detective, what I wanted to be. And I got stopped really short in doing this, because I'm doing this, of course, for the greater good. I'm enjoying my work. And then I realized, this is not happening. I'm actually being used for numbers. And when I found that out, I was really crushed. And I just kind of, my career went in a different way. I decided that I was going to be the best patrol officer that there was. And I was going to help as many people as I could on the street. And I was going to be the poster child, or the poster person, Black female, for women in law enforcement. And that's how I rode my career out. And again, like I said, I didn't have my daughter until 20 years in. So my daughter and I, we're 40 years apart. So I'm 40 years older than her. She's 12. And now I'm working in the missing persons unit, where I've been since 2011.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Those of you that are tuning in, yeah, we're about to wrap it up, but we are with these amazing, amazing women that you see here on our screen. They are the authors of the new book, and soon to be released, and we'll be talking about that, Uncuffed Voices. Her story is my story. Derica, who you just heard, though, is Janique. But there was something that I wanted to share when our contributing author, Derica, had spoken. And she says, little did they know that there was a calling on my life, that my assignment was bigger than them and their ignorance. I continue to serve my community while creating a legacy with the City of Falls Falls Church Police Department for 2 more years. I resigned in March of 2010 after being offered and accepting a position with the District of Columbia government. I'm going to park it right there. We want to know, what was that conversation leading up to when she says, little did they know of the assignment was bigger than them and their ignorance. Oh, this is going to be juicy, God. This is going to be so good. We are with, as I mentioned, we are with the authors of Uncuffed Voices. Her story is my story. We do have one more author that will be coming on and just sharing a snippet. And then we've got some information that we want to share with you about what's going to be happening and coming up on their book release, and we certainly need your help. If you will, come on, LaShawn, yes, and share with us your portion of the book.
Well, as I stated previously, I wrote the name of my chapter is My Village, and I wrote my book about what it took for me to go through my career in law enforcement and some of the ups and downs of going through motherhood and just trying to, and then getting reignited once again and my love for my career. I started out with my parents, that my parents were very, very young when they met and got married and had me. And my dad was a police officer. And often when they got a divorce, I would end up meeting him at the station because they shared custody, and I would go back and forth often on the weekends and during the summer and things like that. And I gained a love for law enforcement through him, but as much as I gained a love for law enforcement through watching my dad at work, my career was vastly different than that of my dad's career. And as I said, it was the tools that I learned from my mom that actually got me through my career. And then when I was kind of worn out through just working and motherhood and carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, I was fortunate enough to meet my best friend and my husband, the love of my life, who kind of reignited my interest and passion for the job. And then he gave me the push that I needed to go forward and get promoted and continue to move, matriculate in my career.
That is awesome. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to call on our visionary author, Chief Chanel, and she's going to let us know what's going to happen on Friday. And go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I am so excited about Friday. And the reason why I'm excited about Friday, because some of your audience may know that we were supposed to launch this book last Saturday. And because of some technical issues, that didn't happen. So I am with some remarkable ladies. Their patience was unmatched. But we have worked out all of those things now. And so we are on target to release the book on Friday, August the 18th. And they can get it for $2.99 on Amazon, the digital version. And I just want to encourage everyone to get it, to get the digital version. And then they can go to uncuffedvoices.com and they can be able to connect with their favorite author to get a signed copy directly through them, the paperback, or later they'll be able to get the paperback on Amazon. But it's important for them to take this journey with us because we have written this book, not just for women and men in law enforcement, but this is to motivate and inspire people all over, because these women have shown bravery, transparency, vulnerabilities that I didn't even think that they would actually be able to release for the whole world to see. So I thank all of them for, oh yeah, that's the site, right? Yeah. I thank all of them for saying yes, because I could not have asked for a better group of women to sign on for this project. I want everyone to stay tuned. There are great things that's going to come out of this project for all of us.
Absolutely. Let me make sure I'm okay. So absolutely, we wanted to show. So yes, y'all see, just go on to the site. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. And Chief Chanel, let me tell you all, her bio is impeccable. All of these ladies, just want to share some of her awards that she's was a proud recipient of the 17th annual Morris and Gwendolyn Caprice Award, honoring distinguished DC government employees for their outstanding performance and exemplary services. She has also received the 2019 Community Service Award from the National Organization of Black Enforcement Executives, the NOBLE, recognizing her for exceptional community service, crime reduction strategies, and expertise for juvenile justice relation. Have stewarded an impressive career and an impenetrable commitment to humanitarianism. Chief Chanel has been featured on several acclaimed platforms, such as CNN with Don Lemon Tonight, Roland Martin, NBC, Fox 5, DC, WUSA 9, ABC 7, USA Today, and many more. Listen, you all, you want to, this is what I tell you all. Y'all know that this is my audience. I tell you all to do this. Put it on put it on Post-it note, put it on your head, put it in your phone, put it on the refrigerator, because they are shooting for their #1 bestseller campaign, and we want to be a part of their journey. We want to cheer these ladies phenomenally on. So yes, get the book, put it on your calendar, look out for it. You know, the Renaissance lady herself, Dawn Leake, we're going to get it out. Make sure that you order your digital copy. And just as Chief Chanel said, you also want to go to the website and purchase one, not just for yourself, but also purchase one for someone else. If you are a mentor and you have a mentee that is considering having a career in law enforcement, what a perfect book that you will be able to present to your mentee. So tonight, and go back and listen to the replays, we're looking forward to, there's approximately 18 authors that are in this book, and we're looking forward to another go round that we will be bringing on some of the other authors. We're going to be working that out, but I am delighted when you sit, y'all. I'll be honest with you, when I sit among women such as these ladies who have risked themselves, and risked their lives, leaving their babies at home, having someone else tend, so that they can make sure that we are safe, and that we are, our communities are safe, our homes are safe, our jobs are safe. Our hats, you know, for lack of a better word, we bow our heads to you. Thank you for serving. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. It is our custom, as always, to step back, and yield to the visionary authors of our book projects, so that they may share their heart of something else that maybe you've thought of, Chief Chanel, that maybe you would like to add to what you've already said. But I want to thank contributing author Linda Tony. And what is your, and I know you're retired, but what you retired with, what position? Forgive me, guys. I want to honor you got those promotions. Forgive me.
Sure. Yeah. I retired as a lieutenant colonel. And I think for me, the takeaway is I hope people walk away, particularly women or anyone, and know that there's obstacles with this job, but it is a very rewarding career. And if you put your heart and your mind and your insight to it, and you have faith, you can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to, and before we bring on Chief Chanel, I want to thank you, Derica Wilson. Y'all, we didn't tap into what this phenomenal lady does outside of these other ladies that are currently still on the force. You help, there's so many Black children. I did a little bit of research, and I think you're phenomenal, all of you. And so you're helping our community know about children that are missing, African Americans that are missing. And definitely I raised my eyes, said, I'm so glad I had never knew of you, but thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And we have Officer Angelica Robinson, MBA, that is joining us tonight. Thank you so much. Janique Springs has joined us. And Janique, what is your position in law enforcement as well?
So right now I'm a senior police officer. So I retired and came back, and I investigate missing persons, all adults and children.
As well. Angelica, what's your position in the law enforcement? You're a corporal? Oh, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. I am a corporal police officer. As I stated, still active with the Detroit Police Department, 28 years. And I'm in a very, very, very relaxed position off the street.
That's good. We got some other young ladies coming up. Yes, indeed, that you mentioned. And Officer LaShawn, tell me again, did I hear correctly? You're a lieutenant?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a lieutenant, and I'm currently active with DC Metropolitan Police Department.
Awesome. Thank you so much for serving. At this time, we're going to yield back and allow the visionary author herself, Chief Chanel Dickerson, to grace us with what's ever on her heart.
Well, thank you again so much, Sandy, for having us. I just don't know what to say about how amazing this group is and how the conversation has been phenomenal. When I think about the women that join me on this journey, because it's 19 of us, it's 18 co-authors, and I am the visionary author. And they not only share the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the challenges that they had in law enforcement, they displayed some unwavering commitment and dedication to protecting people. They're willing to risk it all to make sure other people are able to be safe and live and work and go to school in their communities. So I just wanted to say thank you to them again, and thank you so much for having us. But I want everyone to get the book. Get the book, read it, see how you can apply certain things, because certain chapters actually give steps to tell you if you find yourself in a similar situation to do that. Wow. Think about professional and personal development. If you're in any career, how would personal and professional development help you be able to navigate it? So I think that there's a lot of little snippets in there we talk about, and I'll leave it with this because I really want people to know what they're getting. We have a law enforcement officer that talks about trauma, because we are human beings, and sometimes people forget that law enforcement officers are human beings, and we talk about childhood trauma and how if we don't heal that trauma, we take it into our careers in law enforcement. Yeah. So it's a lot of good stuff in that book. Yes. You will not regret it. Get your copy Friday. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As she leaned in, there's a lot of
look, lean in.
Right. And you had, okay, it's one of those lean in and you gotta go. You're gonna go to the next chapter and go to the next chapter. I know it without a doubt. Chief Chanel and ladies, when I interview authors, I can always tell that there is a book that is evergreen for sure, and that this could actually be used in any career. I believe that you're going to give some takeaways, and I haven't even read the book. I've only skimmed through it, the digital copy. But what I believe that you're saying could be used in no matter what category or what career, the takeaways, the steps, what happens, but also shining a light in the law enforcement, things that women in a predominantly male career have to face. And obviously you all have been in leadership to where you've brought about some changes. And I believe that could be a part 2 conversation. What are some of the changes that you've been able to achieve by sitting at the table when decisions are being made? And I think that that's powerful. Not just wearing the uniform, but making sure that the next woman coming along in her uniform, as you've said, is that with this book about her story, your story is her, I don't want to get that backwards, but that her story is my story. And I think that's powerful. We definitely got to have a conversation about that, because I know you've made some changes. You've sat at the boardroom, you've sat at the table, probably when you were not even wanted at the table, but you sat there. and brought about some change. Tonight, we want you to get the book. Mark your calendar. Y'all know what I tell you to do. Put it on Post-it note. Put it on your head. Put it in your phone. Come Friday, yes, the 18th, we are going to be pushing, and they are going to definitely be hitting the #1 Amazon bestsellers after it's all said and done. I am Sandy Sanders. It has been a delight to have these phenomenal women on our platform on Coffee Conversation and Book Talks with Sandy. It has been an honor, and I truly know that my night after tonight, as they say, you leave church, that your life will never be the same. I don't think my life. I don't. And I told y'all I have a daughter who is a firefighter, so that's a whole nother category as well. So my hats again go off to you, for lack of a better word. Thank you all for being with us on tonight. Thank you. Share it out with your audience. Do some replays. Send it out, and we will be looking forward to them coming back and sharing with us again. Ladies, thank you so much. Hang out with me in the green room, and guys, y'all have a good night. To our audience, thank you all for showing up. Thank you so much as always. And you guys know that I love you. Yes, thank you so much. Tawan Brown, thank you so much. This is a great job, ladies. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Brenda, thank you for hanging out in there with me. And as always, you guys know that I love you. Be blessed. Take care. And we will see you. By the way, I just want to give a quick plug. I will be interviewing Dr. Renee Huffman on Saturday evening, 6:00 p.m. And we will also have Mr. Rodney. He will be joining us. Rodney has a book called Love, the Benevolent Nature of God. That is Mr. Rodney O'Neill Harper Jr. that will be joining me on Saturday afternoon at 3:00 p.m. on our Spotify channel. All right, guys, you take care. All right, and we'll talk to you soon.